the Atari name to a shocking amount of stupid and terrible ventures. One of the least stupid and actually more recognizable examples of this is Atari licensing to AtGames and MyArcade. They have a series of consoles called the Atari Flashback. Some you can plug into a TV and some are handheld. You boot it up and you can play a collection of Atari games that are built into the unit. I really don't have much of a problem with these. They're cheap, they're good enough, you can go to Walmart and find them. They're not meant for the hardcore crowd. You know, they're meant to be a gift for your dad, right? But if nothing else, I think they definitely contributed to giving the Atari name such a bargain bin vibe, and that's why I think it's important to mention. I've seen a lot of people online that are very unsympathetic towards the new GameStation Pocket that MyArcade is coming out with, and I think that's fair, but once again, they're fine. They're just not applicable to me specifically. In terms of stupidity, I'm going in order from least to most, so naturally, next on our list is the Atari hat. So back in 2017, 2018, I remember hearing about these everywhere. It's a hat, it says Atari on it, and it has speakers on the brim. And you can connect it to your phone with Bluetooth, and your hat can play music. It really does feel like they bought a bunch of like cheap Chinese stock, like put their logo on it, and then resold it on their platforms for a markup. It's like a Soulja game level grift. Now, because these launched like 8 years ago, I was expecting that I'd have to go on eBay to buy one, but no, you can still buy one. They're just on Amazon, and they're on their official website. Now, whether or not you'd want to is a whole other discussion, because I imagine this thing will be very subjective. I'm sure the first question you'd have is, do the speakers sound good? No. They do not, because they're so thin. They have a ton of high-end, very little mids, and non-existent lows. Battery life is excellent. I ran mine for probably 20 to 30 hours on one charge. It looks great. It's surprisingly comfortable. It feels quality. Like, for 25 bucks, consider me thoroughly impressed in the hat department. But don't worry, that is the extent of the good things I have to say about it. I cannot stress enough how unapplicable this product is to the vast majority of people. Because as soon as you start considering the logistics of a hat with speakers on it, you start to run into a lot of problems. First of all, this is socially unacceptable to use in almost every scenario. In any setting where I'm not completely alone, I feel like it would be inconsiderate for me to play audio through the hat I'm wearing. It is preferable to everyone, including me, to just wear earbuds. They sound better, and I don't have to sacrifice my privacy. Secondly, you can't get it wet. There are electronics in there, it's got batteries and such, so it is incompatible with rain and also being washed. Hope you don't sweat too much. Third, if you really need a speaker in a pinch, you might as well just blast it out of your smartphone, because this thing doesn't get any louder or sound any better than what your smartphone can already do. Even if I don't end up using the speaker part of it very often, it's just a comfortable hat. I just like the hat, okay? I know it's really stupid. I'm very surprised they're even still selling them, but they're cheap and weird enough that I can't really get upset about it. But you know what I love more than Atari games? Hot sauce. In late 2024, Atari launched AtariSauce.com. This is real, and you can find a selection of 10 Atari game-themed hot sauces. Welcome to AtariSauce.com, where classic gaming meets bold, flavorful adventure. Have you ever wondered what the dragon from Adventure tastes like? Well, we ground it up into a paste and bottled it for you. How about the literal space rocks that you blow up in asteroids? Apparently they taste like barbecue sauce.
The humanoid must not escape without trying the electric citrus hot sauce.
Yar's revenge. What could this even mean? This game is so surreal. Unleash your inner Yar with this Inferno level hot sauce, spicy enough to seek revenge on any planet. All they had to go on was the title. These people don't know what Yar's Revenge even is. I would have bought a few bottles just for the curiosity, but I was too late, and I wouldn't have received them in time for the shoot because they're based in the UK. I found out that they licensed their brand to a British hot sauce company called Sauce Shed that specializes in doing exactly this. Sauce Shed also worked with Capcom to make the Street Fighter hot sauce, which you can also still buy. It's a little bit lame knowing that Sauce Shed does this for a bunch of different brands, but it's pretty harmless, all things considered. In 2020, Atari launched their grand idea for Atari Hotels. They had all this concept art and all this press. They started sponsoring motorsports so they could slap the Atari Hotels logo on a cool car. And then nothing happened for literally 4 years. They came back in early 2024 and they were like, oh yeah, we're still working on that. We're working hard. It's 2025 and we have still heard nothing. Unfortunately, I have to be a bit of a cynic about this. How do they plan to build 10 gigantic futuristic hotels across the nation when their games aren't selling, their stock is worthless, and the average person does not care about Atari even a little bit? How do they expect to get the funding for such a huge project when no one, and I mean no one, would want to invest in them?